Hello and welcome to the Presentation Bootcamp. I'm Michael Best, the founder and creator of Spotted Rhino Designs, and I'm glad you took the first step in looking to better your skills as a presenter. I'm excited to come alongside of you to position you in a place where you are able to create presentations that resonate with your audience and move them to action. In this day and age where we have access to so many people through so many different venues, and everyone and their brother is trying to push their message through. By making the move to watch these Presentation Bootcamp videos, you have shown that you understand that it is so desperately important that you better your skills in this area. Thank you for joining us. I am really glad you did. Over the next 5 days, you'll receive 1 email a day from Spotted Rhino Design, so be looking out for them. In these emails, there will be another video for you to watch, each on a different topic. I am sending you 1 video per day because I want you to be able to have time to process, think through, and let sink in the information in each day's video. We can't rush the process of becoming a top presenter, but we can make sure that we are learning the right skills in the most efficient way. One of the first things people ask me is, how do I start my presentation? Which is a reasonable question to ask. And the reasonable answer to give is to begin at the beginning, right? But the often missed reality is that we must begin before the beginning. We must understand the elements that make up a presentation that moves. Okay, so what does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you a story that will clear this up for you. Back when I was high school, I was a pretty good student. I had to study a little bit, but not a lot to get A's and B's. And one of my strong subjects was science. I liked the topic and I had had success in the classes before. That was until I started chemistry. You see, the entire premise of chemistry is built on the natural building blocks of the elements. So it made complete sense that my chemistry teacher started us out right away memorizing the elements of the elements, their atomic numbers. It was the perfect starting place. Because before you can start building effective atoms, you need to understand the parts and how they work together. Without this understanding, you literally can't put these elements together in a way that makes sense or holds up. The problem for me is that I did not realize this. I mean, I had had success in science before. I had skill in this area. I figured it would be fine if I skipped this step and jumped right into the quote-unquote real stuff. So I didn't study, or at least I didn't study as hard as I should have. And I failed my test on the atomic numbers miserably. That was bad, but it got even worse. Because I didn't take understanding the elements of chemistry seriously, I was unable to effectively execute any part of my chemistry class. I never reached my full potential. Now, I don't want the same thing to happen to you in your presentations. It is so critical that you understand the elements of a presentation that moves and how they work together. If you don't, there's absolutely no way for you to build a presentation that reaches its highest potential. So if that's the case, let's review the role of the elements of a presentation. The 2 elements that are critical that we draw a distinction between before we start building our new and powerful presentation are the presentation and the visuals. You see, we use the term presentation almost universally, or interchangeably, kind of a catch-all. We apply it to the event, content, outline, handouts, or most commonly the PowerPoint slides. But when you stop and look at what a presentation really is, we find an interesting perspective, one that will completely change how we approach our next talk. The definition of a presentation is the giving, offering, delivering, or bestowal of something to someone as of a gift. And not what you expected to hear, was it? Let me repeat that for you. A presentation is the giving, offering, delivering, or bestowal of something to someone as a gift. What this is saying is that at its atomic level, a presentation is when you bring something to a gathering of people and are willing to give that something to someone else. This means you have something of value to bring, whether that's an opportunity, experience, expertise, perspective, or an idea. You possess it and are willing and interested in giving it. And you want to present it in such a way that it is received like a gift. If we want our presentations to resonate and move people, we must start here and build out. Now let's go back and talk about the other element. So as a presentation is the giving, offering, delivering, or bestowal of something to someone, then the visuals are items or elements related to the sense of sight, producing an image in the mind. Visuals are directly related to sight, what one sees. Sight is a very powerful connection to our mind and memory, so visuals are very important, but they are one-dimensional. We so often equate our visuals with our presentation. I mean, how many times have you said, "Could you email me your presentation?" What we are looking for is someone to send us their PowerPoint slides, their visuals. This becomes a problem when we get in our head that when we are going to design a presentation, we need to open up our computer and start working on our visuals. If you do this, you are not alone, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Attractive and reliable visuals will make it so that what you are saying has a better chance of being remembered. But they are always an accent or support for the presentation and the presenter, for you. When you approach your next talk, remember the role of the elements. Remember that your visuals are a powerful way to create a memorable image in the audience's mind. But the real gift is the offering of your presentation. What it is, you have of value. So now that we are clear on the role of the elements, what do we do next? How exactly do we start building the most moving presentation? These are the questions that we will handle in tomorrow's video. Finally, if you are interested in increasing the value of the gift of your presentation, why don't you check out Spotted Rhino Designs' one-on-one customized presentation review called the Presentation Pulse. You can access it by clicking the link at the bottom of today's video email. Thanks, and see you tomorrow.